group of young elves were frantically fleeing through the forest, with countless brutal werewolves closing in behind them. Since the Alliance army had installed sharp poisonous spikes in the air, the elves could only rely on their legs to sprint through the jungle. As the vicious wolves grew ever closer to the group, one elf suddenly charged forward and engaged in a fierce battle with it. Using her agile movements, she tightly gripped the wolf's neck. However, by the time she finally managed to kill it, the main force of the Alliance army had already caught up. The girl behind her was struck in the head by an arrow. Upon seeing this, Vinny immediately turned and fled toward the cliff. At the last moment, she managed to break through the encirclement and take flight. When she safely reached a smuggling ship, the captain had his men escort her into the ship's hold. The ship was filled with slaves fleeing the war to other countries. Since the human empire and the elf tribe had engaged in a major war, Vinny had been roaming the battlefield, helping her fleeing kin escape. In the process, she had lost her husband. As Wei Ni looked at the photo and fell into reminiscence, a sudden storm erupted on the sea. Huge waves crashed through the deck into the hold, instantly submerging the unprepared passengers inside. When Vinny awoke from her unconsciousness, she had been washed ashore by the waves in front of a castle. Local police officers discovered her and brought her to the police station. Through investigation, they learned that the owner of the sunken ship was a merchant named Ross. The officers then handed Vinny over to him as a servant. Although this was a place where elves were allowed to live, they could only perform menial tasks. Even so, the elves still faced various forms of oppression. Two patrolling soldiers approached the sheep-headed woman's stall and threw a fresh pig's head onto the ground. At that moment, a man approached and tried to stop them. However, the patrolling soldiers, seeing this, attempted to provoke him further. The man rushed forward, grabbed a kitchen knife, and pressed it against the soldier's forehead. Fortunately, the other soldier recognized the man's identity in time and intervened to apologize. The man's name was Phil, a detective in this area. He was the only human who opposed racial discrimination, so the elves had a very good relationship with him.